What's up guys? Today we're going to talk about our favorite hothead superhero who is going to be in the new Deadpool 3 movie, Wolverine. What is his origin? Let's find out. Wolverine made his first full appearance in 1974 in the Incredible Hulk issue number 181. He was created by Marvel editor-chief Roy Thomas, writer Len Wein, and Marvel art director John Romita Sr. Wolverine is such a beloved character in the comic world that it highly reflects that on statue collecting. Licensed companies releases at least one Wolverine statue every year, no matter the scale. And as for custom statues, probably at least 4 Wolverines a year in quarter scale, but could have different costumes. Wolverine was born as James HOWLETT in northern Alberta, Canada, in the late 19th century to rich farm owners John and Elizabeth HOWLETT. He is actually the illegitimate son of the HOWLETT's groundskeeper, Thomas Logan. As a child, he was weak and unhealthy due to his overactive mutant immune system. He was also neglected by his mother, who has been institutionalized after her first son died. James' mutant abilities were triggered when his father was shot by the HOWLETT groundskeeper, Thomas Logan, whom he did not know was in fact his real father.
I am your father.
James killed Logan, slashed the face of Logan's son and his friend dog, and left Alberta with a childhood friend named Ross O'Hara. His healing abilities removed trauma from his memories, leaving him temporarily amnesiac. He and Rose then stayed at a British Columbia stone quarry where he used his alias, Logan. Later, Logan's powers grew stronger due to the environment around him. He became healthier and gained animalistic senses, but he also became more violent. To divert his pent-up rage, Logan joined cage fights and earned the nickname Wolverine. After accidentally killing Rose with his claws, Logan retreated into the woods and lived as a feral beast, losing all of his former memories. There's actually a lot of custom statues or fan art Wolverine statues coming, and probably more to come. So just hit me up if you are interested. Social media links in the description below. Funny thing is that I used to think that Wolverine's real name is Logan, and it's what they actually called him as well in the 90s animated show. It was only when I became friends with a collector with the alias James HOWLETT on Facebook and said that it is in fact Wolverine's real name. And all along I thought that his name was James. Anyway, back to the show. So what is his personality as Wolverine? Logan is a very headstrong and strong-willed man. While he can be insensitive, he is a loyal and self-sacrificing person. He is always willing to defend someone who needs help, like X-23, Charles, Spike, and anyone else. Despite his short temper, he does try to teach the younger mutants that violence isn't the best option, that sometimes it is needed and sometimes is the only way. Logan in the movies and TV series is a lot like his comic book version. He seems to consider Kitty and X-23 like daughters, so you may see the X-Men as a full family. So let's talk about Wolverine's powers. Because he has rapid regeneration powers or healing factors, Wolverine can bounce back from almost any bodily wound as long as his head remains attached to his shoulder, of course. With that said, his healing speed depends on the severity of the injury. His body is also immune to drugs, illnesses, and venom. No, not the symbiote, snake venom. Because in the game Spider-Man Web of Shadows, Wolverine was actually venomized. He also has incredible senses, agility, and reflexes. Wolverine sees and hears things at distances far greater than normal humans. His sense of smell is even stronger. He can recognize people and objects by scent alone. That, combined with combat and stealth training, makes Wolverine one of the world's best trackers. The most iconic of his organic weapons are his retractable bone claws in both his forearms. He can at will release these claws, which are naturally sharp and tougher than normal human bones. Wolverine can use them to penetrate flesh and natural materials. Additionally, his skeleton was coated in the near indestructible steel alloy known as adamantium. This add up 105 pounds to his frame or 47.6 kilograms in Mr. HOWLETT's native metric system. Immediately after this procedure, his healing factor was slowed down so that it might take weeks to recover from multiple wounds, but eventually the healing factor returned to full speed. The adamantium renders his bones virtually unbreakable and his claws capable of penetrating almost any substance depending on its thickness and the force he exerts. His reinforced skeleton also lets him withstand heavy physical pressure. We know Wolverine is almost indestructible, so what about his weaknesses and his enemies? Wolverine's biggest strength, his metal skeleton, is also his key weakness: magnets. The adamantium definitely made him a lot stronger and tankier, but also made him very weak to X-Men's #1 villain, Magneto. From the movie adaptations, we know that Logan is extremely vulnerable to magnetic fields as Magneto can control him as he pleases. As for enemies, Wolverine has a lot of them, but his greatest enemy is definitely Victor Creed, aka Sabretooth. Both were parts of the Cold War super soldier program Weapon X, where Sabretooth saw Wolverine as his competition and antagonized him in every way ever since. And there's also Omega Red, which is kinda like his Russian counterpart. There's actually a pretty cool statue of both Sabretooth and Omega Red coming. This is part of a Wolverine versus someone line or his nemesis line. We are currently awaiting the prototype reveal of the Sabretooth, and the pre-order for the Omega Red just went up and is now currently sold out. Glad I was able to hop on that. Now we know what his weaknesses are. What about one of his greatest trials? Wolverine had a great love, Mariko Yashida. They were almost married before things went bad. Although they stayed close, Mariko ended up taking over her family's Yakuza clan and called Wolverine for his help against the clan's enemies. The whole affair ended up with Mariko being poisoned during a peace ceremony. Mariko asked Wolverine to put her out of her suffering, and Wolverine obliged, killing one of his greatest loves, and he even blamed himself for her death. In his mind, if he had been able to defeat the clan enemies, Mariko would not have died in his arms. To this day, Marvel continues to explore Wolverine's adventures in the comic series Wolverine 2020. And that's a wrap for our episode today. Don't forget to subscribe below for more hero origin stories. This is Carl, and see you in the next one.